I have to admit it, not all the time am I interested in some long drawn out open world game. I know it's just a me thing and it's just an opinion thing, so people should kind of keep that into perspective as I go forward with this video. But yeah, I have to admit, there's some games that you just can't really get into as much. One of those games, for instance, would be Horizon Forbidden West. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think it's a really good game. It's a very high profile, high cost game. They put a big budget into it. You can really tell that they kind of went all out with the game. My problem is, yeah, this game came out in February, and here we are in May, and I think I'm maybe a third of the way done with the game, maybe a halfway done with the game. And for some reason, I don't really want to go back. For instance, I'm playing this game. I went back and I finished Uncharted 4 off the Legacy Collection. And, you know, the one thing that I think I like about Uncharted is the same thing that I like about some of these other games. Now, the other thing is I went and finished the Guardians of the Galaxy game on PlayStation 5. For those of you that didn't know, I bought that game when it came out on Xbox Series X, and then I bought it a little bit later because I loved it so much on PlayStation 5, but I stopped playing it partway through because some of the other games on PlayStation came out, and I started playing those other games. Now, it just reminded me because, you know, I'm also playing through the Lego Star Wars games on Xbox, which, don't get me started on that. I love that game, but I ran into a glitch on Episode 7 where you can't speak to Maz, and apparently there's no fix for this glitch yet, so it's just a waiting pattern. But I digress. So, you know, and I'm trying to get into Horizon Forbidden West, and there's a couple of things that are really kind of distracting to me. One thing is Aloy just isn't a likable character, and you know, she tries to do, I think, too much by herself. I understand why some people like the character, but for me she just seems kind of one-dimensional. Whereas, you know, I played through like the Uncharted game, and you know, he's almost got somebody with them the entire time, and there's banter, and it's just fun, and it's also not this open world thing. And then when I'm playing Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm like, this is fun, right? Because you're not getting lost. You're not, you know, it doesn't seem drawn out to pad the stats of the game. It's just a really fun thing. And even like hopping back on my Xbox, and, you know, I have an Xbox Series S in the living room as well, playing, you know, stuff with the kids, playing, you know, Splitgate or playing Halo or whatever. I'm just thinking, I'm playing, and I've already done this video before where I mentioned that lately I've been playing more Xbox 360 than PS5, and that's true. And it's just for one of the reasons is even on my Xbox Series S, the backwards compatibility stuff all supports VSync and that kind of stuff. So realistically, quick resume and these things are just such an amazing thing on Xbox that it's making me play my PlayStation 5 less and less. And it's not, I'm not trying to knock PlayStation 5 per se, because I think the PlayStation 5 is a good console. I just think that it's also maybe not as good as I originally thought it was, and I think that, you know, that might be looked at as sort of a situation where people are kind of like, oh man, what are you saying, CG? What are you saying? But I just have to be honest about it. I've always kind of found myself trying to give my honest opinions on these situations, and that's pretty much as honest as I can be with this, right? Like, I think the PS5 is a solid console, but it feels a little underdeveloped for what it is, and that's unfortunate because it has a lot of potential. And I feel like probably when they come out with a slim version or something, it might be worth the wait. So if anybody was asking me right now, hey, if I come across a PS5, should I get it right now? I would say, well, what are you most looking forward to, right? Because I got to be honest, Ratchet and Clank is really good. It's really good, and it's really showcases kind of next generation stuff. In my opinion, it really showcases that. But at the same time, there's not many experiences on there that are just PS5 only that are worth picking up. Are you going to, for a 10-hour game or 11-hour game, are you going to pick up a $500 console? That's a question you got to ask. Even if you love God of War, maybe you like the first Horizon, you want to play this, or GT7. Those games are all on PS4, PS4 Pro. I would say maybe wait. You know, if you want to get into like a stopgap situation, you might want to get into the idea that, you know, for me anyway, get a Series S until then. You can get them pretty cheap. They're about $250 now. They're playing all the current gen stuff. and then maybe get a PS5 later when they've refined it a little bit more, or when they've decided to actually kind of, come out with next-gen only games at a particular point. And I know Microsoft hasn't been exactly amazing at that either, but I also just feel like with what Microsoft has been offering in terms of value and Game Pass and stuff like that, that's a huge difference. What I mean by that is, if you can pick up a Series S, which I think they're like on sale right now for a pretty low amount, like I said, like $250 or something along those lines, then why not grab that, right? Then get Game Pass for a few months for $1, try it out. So for $250, $255, you're playing, current gen games, you're playing a lot of stuff that's on Game Pass, and you can have fun. Whereas, maybe you pay a scalper or buy a PS5 for $500, $600, $700, $800, and then buying these games that are cross-gen, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and so I'm trying to keep as honest as I can, without pissing people off, because I'm not trying to annoy anybody or tick anybody off or like try to be a certain kind of way or anything like that. I'm just giving my honest take on this, and be as honest as I can be about how I feel right now. Just like the features aren't there. The fact that multiple times now I've gone back to a 360 game, even on my 360, and it pulls something from the cloud, a save from years and years ago, and I couldn't even get it to do that on my PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 4 game that came out a month before the PlayStation 5. Like, I don't understand how some of this stuff doesn't work. And then it reminds me back to the whole Phil Spencer thing, saying it just works. And I refuse to take that for granted anymore. It just works, folks. And that's the part that I kind of am living with right now, and why I'm playing so much Xbox. Not to say that I won't play PlayStation or exclusives on PlayStation. It's just things have gotten so much better on Xbox, and it's just honestly just a delight to boot things up and play, and it's kind of just, it's fun, and for me, I find that to be pretty interesting. And at the end of the day, these are the type of things that bring people to a console in the first place, right? Look, gamers are always going to be picky and fickle, and I am like that, and you can call me flip-flop or whatever. I own everything. I own all the stuff. I try to own all the stuff every time. I think that Microsoft nailed it with the hardware this time, and I think Sony's was a little bit lackluster. Not to say that it's not a performance thing or anything like that. I think both are very similar and do about the same. Sometimes one will out slightly by a frame or whatever, a couple pixels. Who cares? I don't care about that stuff. But when you just talk about the ease of use, look, if I want to play a next-gen game on my Xbox Series X, it makes sure that I have the right version and tells me I can't play it unless it's on the internal drive or whatever. There's just these little things and little instances like that just makes it so much better. And to be honest with you, I know the Series S gets so much hate, but if you were to ask me 100% and be honest about it, which one would you get right this second? Especially going into this year. I mean, look, Starfield, that's going to be current gen only. Looks like Forza Motorsport, Redfall, these are current gen. Avowed, that stuff, you're not going to be able to play that stuff on an Xbox One. Whereas God of War, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, these games are all cross-gen. So, anyway, let me know what you think. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. Thank you so much for watching. Crap Gamer, out.